Noah sat on his new couch, absorbing the sudden appearance of his ex-wife Mandy at his apartment. Their divorce settlement had become a point of contention, and she insisted he be more accommodating. As he navigated this unexpected confrontation, he recalled the moment Mandy had declared her desire for a divorce. It was a pivotal scene that had altered his life in an instant. She had approached him with an urgency that suggested a weighty conversation was on the horizon. When she finally uttered those fateful words, "I want a divorce," it felt as though ice water had been poured over him. He struggled to maintain his composure, despite the internal turmoil that threatened to surface. Mandy's reasoning was straightforward. She felt trapped in their marriage, yearning for excitement and new experiences. Noah, still reeling from her declaration, tried to understand the depth of her feelings. He questioned whether there was something specific that had led to her decision, his voice steady despite the chaos swirling within him. As she sat across from him, the physical distance mirrored the emotional chasm that had grown between them. Each gesture she made reinforced the notion that she had been contemplating this for months, while he had been oblivious. Their living situation became a topic of practical concern. When Mandy expressed a desire to keep the house, Noah proposed that they get appraised to ensure a fair division of assets. He quickly realized, however, that she likely had a figure in mind that would benefit her more. The memories in their living room, the couch they had chosen together, the photographs from their trip to Yellowstone, flooded back, prompting him to question whether she had harbored thoughts of divorce even during those seemingly happy moments. As the conversation progressed, Noah remained calm, though overwhelmed by the rapid changes unfolding in his life. He suggested counseling as a way to address their issues, but Mandy was resolute. She had made up her mind. Despite his steady demeanor, Noah struggled internally, grappling with the implications of their separation. They discussed the practicalities of their divorce, including the division of possessions, as he tried to maintain a sense of rationality in the face of emotional upheaval. Yet, the reality of her situation began to sink in for both of them. Noah's acceptance of the divorce was surprisingly quick, leaving Mandy feeling unsettled. He offered to stay in the house until he found a new place, and she responded with a seemingly generous offer, though he felt the tension in the air. As he left their shared home, the weight of finality loomed over him. This might be the last time he stepped out as her husband, a realization that tightened his chest with an overwhelming sense of loss. Mandy, on the other hand, felt a mix of triumph and uncertainty. She texted her friend Jen, describing Noah's calm reaction as if he were merely discussing mundane matters. Their dynamic had always been one of contrasting emotions. Mandy's passionate nature clashed with Noah's logical approach. While she wanted him to display some raw emotion, he remained steadfast in his composure. Ignoring Jen's response, she called Mark, the realtor, eager to expedite the process of buying out Noah's share of the house. Noah's return later that evening revealed his meticulous nature. He had already started contemplating the logistics of their separation. When Mandy informed him about Mark's meeting the next day, he raised an eyebrow, surprised by her swiftness. Their conversation took on an air of business, devoid of the emotional weight that had once characterized their relationship. Noah's decision to seek a second opinion on the house valuation irritated Mandy, as she struggled to reconcile his practicality with her emotional turmoil. The days following their initial confrontation were filled with logistical discussions about dividing their shared possessions and settling financial matters. Mandy's irritation grew as Noah continued to approach their separation as a business transaction rather than an emotional rupture. Their conversations became increasingly strained, with both parties retreating into their respective corners, trying to protect their interests. The emotional disconnect left Mandy feeling deflated. This was not the dramatic separation she had envisioned. As Noah settled into his new apartment, he faced an avalanche of tasks. Finding a new place, engaging a realtor, and consulting a lawyer. He felt the weight of his circumstances, but remained practical. On the other hand, Mandy grappled with the reality of her choice. While she had sought excitement and new opportunities, she found herself navigating the mundane realities of homeownership, dealing with the unexpected breakdowns of appliances, and confronting the emotional fallout of her decision. The interactions between them became increasingly transactional. When Mandy reached out to Noah for help with household issues, he refused, asserting that he was no longer obligated to fix things in a home he no longer considered his. This shift in their dynamic was jarring for Mandy, who had always relied on Noah's skills and willingness to help. The growing tension between them underscored the reality of their separation, revealing the stark differences in their approaches to life and relationships. As the weeks turned into months, the divorce settlement materialized into a straightforward division of assets, with neither party entitled to alimony. Noah managed to secure a modest townhouse with a share of the proceeds, while Mandy struggled to adapt to her new life. Although she had anticipated finding freedom and excitement, the reality of her situation settled heavily on her shoulders. Her attempts to navigate the dating scene were disappointing, revealing a pattern of men seeking short-term fun rather than long-term commitment. One evening, while driving past Noah's new townhouse, Mandy spotted an unfamiliar car parked outside. A pang of jealousy shot through her as she glimpsed Noah laughing with someone in the kitchen, looking genuinely happy. The realization that he was thriving without her struck her hard, leading to a wave of regret. Despite her efforts to embrace her new life, she couldn't shake the feeling that she had made a grave mistake. 6 months after their divorce, the settlement had been resolved without further complications. Noah found himself in a new chapter, both literally and metaphorically. He had embraced a fresh start, focusing on self-improvement and building a life that aligned with his values. His new relationship with Elise blossomed, marked by laughter and mutual interests. As he reflected on the past, he felt a renewed sense of gratitude for the lessons learned through the experience. He realized that the end of his marriage had opened the door to new opportunities and a life filled with possibility, where he was valued for who he was rather than what he could offer someone else.